Whenever people ask me where I went to college, I'm always careful about how I respond. Because I don't want to seem pretentious.
Just you know why you and I will by and by know true love ways.
When I was a freshman at Yale, I took a class called Intro Microeconomics. Lame. It was taught in this huge building called Untitled Chapter, and it was just me, loner, and about 300 other students.
Don't ever call economics lame.
On the last day of classes, final exam day, I sat in the front of the room like a good student, waiting to start the test. The professor handed them out and said,
"All right, class, you may begin."
At that moment, everyone flipped to the first question and started reading the problem. And I kid you not, 10 seconds later, from the way back of this ginormous lecture hall, someone went, "What the f?" This memory stuck with me my entire college career. Not just because it was a funny moment, but because there were so many times where I totally felt the same way as that guy. I would open up an exam, look at a problem, and be like, holy shitsu, this problem makes no sense. Now fortunately, most of the time, I was able to make something up and get partial credit. Also, pro tip, if you ever get a super cryptic math question, the answer is almost always 0 or 1. But there was this one time during senior year when I couldn't even BS my way through. Before I dive into that though, let me give you some context. At Yale, you have the option of taking a class either for a letter grade or credit D fail. Now you're probably familiar with the letter grade system, where you get an A, B, C, D, or F. The hope is to get the best grade possible. Under the credit D fail system, however, the goal basically is to get at least a C-, because if you get a C- or above, your transcript will say CR, which means you get credit for the course. And that's it. There's actually no record of what your final grade is in the class. Whether you finish with an A or a C-, your transcript will say CR. Credit D fail is nice since it helps you rack up credits to graduate. At the same time, because all you need is a C-, you're able to take classes without worrying too much about grades. You can explore subjects that you normally wouldn't try, enjoy the courses stress-free, and get the most out of your liberal arts education. Or at least that's the hope. What usually ends up happening is you slack off, miss classes, and become lazy with the homework. But here's the thing, you never want to slack off too much, because if you get below a C-, you are royally screwed. First of all, you don't get credit. Not only that, your transcript will say D if you got a D, or F if you forgot about the class. Fortunately, getting below a C- is harder than you think. Now granted, most of the classes I took were relatively easy, so it was hard to get a D or an F in them. But still, there was this one course where didn't even show up half the time. Still got the credit. So I decided to push my luck a bit. Senior year comes around, and I'm taking an economics class credit D fail. Now for most of the year, I'm a model student. I go to the lectures, do all the homework, so on the day before my final exam, I figure I can probably do badly on this test and still get a C- in the class. But you know what? I'm a good student. I still prep for the final. By prep, I mean I sit down and calculate what's the lowest score I can get to maintain a C-. It's not really prep. But hey, I find out that I can get a 25%. 25%? Shut the front door! Heck, I could probably just write my name, answer one problem correctly, and scribble Justin Bieber lyrics for the rest of the questions, and still get a 25%. So I'm asking myself, do I need to study for tomorrow? Night! And I spend the rest of the evening playing Smash 4 with my friends. Not only that, I'm playing Smash the following morning. And the hour right before my exam, guess what I'm doing? That's right. I'm eating dinner. 7 o'clock approaches. It's game time. I bust open the classroom door. And my thumbs, they're shaking from all that video gaming. But it's okay, because the rest of me is as cool as a cat. I strut in there like a freaking boss. Meanwhile, all of my classmates, they're taking this course for a letter grade. And they're also shaking. But from stress. The student next to me leans over and is like, Hey, Adrian, how do you feel about this test? I feel great. 10 minutes before the exam, and my professor, he decides to say some final words of encouragement. Now, I'm not going to tell you my professor's name, but it instantly rhymes with Yale, so we're going to call him Professor Yale. And right before he hands out the test, he says, In the last school I taught at, students used to call me Fail Yale, because of all the students I would fail. Ho 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 ho. That's not funny. That sounds pretty freaking terrible, actually. Why would you say that right before an exam? And I'm sitting there thinking, oh crap, could I really get below a 25% on this? Nah! But but how funny would it be if I actually did? It wouldn't be funny at all! The clock hits 7 and Mr. Fail Yale says, All right, class, you may now begin. At that moment, everyone flips to the first question and starts reading the problem. And I kid you not, 10 seconds later, just like that kid from my freshman year, I'm thinking to myself, what the f***?